Yeah, I thought he threw the ball well. I mean, obviously the 2 walks there, come back to bite him, and then, probably not a pitch he wanted to throw, down and in with a cutter there. Probably got to get that one up or backdoor it. He had success with Kurtz his first 2 times, but just, threw that cutter down and in right into his, kind of that nitro zone. So, but overall, I thought he threw the ball well, and those 2 walks, though, that really came back to harm him.
Joel.
Aaron, it's been like 2+ weeks for your offense of really not producing. Do you have a thought, a theory on what's gone on pretty much up and down your lineup?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple guys going through it right now. Look, I think that 2.5 weeks is a lot different. We had the week, where we got really blanked a lot, and then I thought probably about 5 days in a row, even at some of the Angel games into the Baltimore series, where I thought we were back to, really heavy at bats, taxing the starting pitcher. Got some good results, some games where we didn't totally break through, so I really thought we were starting to do that. And then, last 2 days been shut down a little bit more than we'd like. We just got to get a couple guys going, and in times like this, it's always like, it comes down to getting the big hit with runners out there. We're doing an okay job of creating some traffic, even though we haven't gotten a lot of hits the last 2 days. But I feel like over the last week, 10 days, we've had our opportunities. We got to cash them in, and then for the most part, we haven't been hitting the long ball either. But it comes down to you got to cash in when you get opportunities when you're going through it a little bit.
Max.
Have you picked up on anything with Judge specifically with how uncharacteristic this stretch has been?
No, baseball. I mean, everyone's going to go through a little something, and, he'll continue to make his little adjustments and catch fire. He smoked 2 balls today. I thought JP made a good pitch on him on the ball, the first and second, where he kind of stayed inside it, tied him up enough, but kind of smokes it to right there, and then, hits one to the deepest part of the park. So, that's not that far off. He's probably just been not quite as long through the zone, as he usually is. And that's just, minor timing things that, he's going to come around and get.
Dan and Meredith.
Wells' slump has gone on for quite a while now. Are you seeing anything different in his at-bats? And do you have to, does he need to change anything in his approach?
Yeah. He's still giving us that big at bat every now and then where, man, he locks down and it's a tough situation. He gives you that good at bat. Maybe a little something also with his low, which allows you to kind of separate properly and get your swing off. I feel like he's been kind of in between, out in front of a lot of secondary or change-ups. So probably just, I'm not going to get too wonky and into the weeds with you from what I see, but, I think a little bit load timing things that, probably are affecting him a little bit.
And what happened with Hamilton and Wilson there?
Nothing. Hammy just upset with himself and being intense.
Meredith? Anyone else? Joel?
I might be looking for something here, but pretty much since Stanton came back, this has coincided. Some of your players are furniture. They're in the lineup every day, Judge, Volpe, but we ask you every day about moving other guys around. Do you think there's any cause or effect that guys who are used to playing every day maybe aren't playing every day right now?
I mean, Grish is playing really well. Belly's playing really well. JD is. Those are the guys that are impacted. So I do think it's a little looking for it. The reality is those guys are all playing pretty regularly. And I think the guys that we're talking about, for the most part, to me, even through this stretch, I feel like have been given quality at bats. Even G didn't get any results today, and now he hasn't homered but watch G's at bats. He's been, I feel like, in a pretty good spot since he's come back. So, as long as we don't score or whatever, we got to find something. I don't think that's the case.